Welcome. Today, I would like to talk about one of the most important and central teachings and concepts in Buddhism, impermanence or anicca. So what is impermanence? So it's basically the opposite of permanence, right? Things are being permanent. Now, all conditioned phenomena, which includes me, you, thoughts, feelings, ideas, our world, the universe, you name it, they are all impermanent. They are all conditioned things. However, to various degrees and various levels, we believe things are permanent. And this is what's causing us dukkha, or the suffering in our lives, because we are trying to cling, crave, attachments to the idea of permanence. And so this is a really hard concept, for a lot of Westerners to really understand, because we are kind of brought up into a lot of cultural and beliefs where things are permanent, or just to push away the idea of impermanence. So it's really central to us, because this is why we even practice Buddhism, because things are impermanent, but we want things to be permanent. So we cling and crave and attach ourselves to things, and we're just in this constant cycle, the cycle of rebirth, and we call it samsara. So we're just constantly caught in it. And so that's the problem. This is what's going on, is our belief in permanence when there is actually impermanence. So the Buddha taught about this a lot. The anicca, that word right there, basically saying things are not permanent. That's exactly what it means right there. So all things are kind of in this constant state of flux. They're not permanent. That includes your feelings, your ideas, my body, your body, all of us. We're all impermanent, right? So here's some ways to kind of, grasp your head around this. Just walking outside, right? We have, nature, we got, trees, we got flowers, right? So look at a flower, it's beautiful when it's blooming, but then it's going to wither away, right? It's going to die. And maybe the trees, so fall's coming, so the leaves start, falling off. And so obviously the tree's not dead, but it's that impermanence to that nature as well. So when we look at that, we go, of course, I'm used to that. I'm used to the flower, it's withering away and dying. I know it'll be back, or I know the leaves are falling in, but they'll come back in the spring, right? We're okay with that, level of impermanence, but when it comes to like a loved one passing away, or my health's getting, I'm getting ill or something like that, or, maybe I lost some belongings, I'm not okay with that, level of impermanence. So that's where our struggles come in, because we want to cling and crave and attach ourselves to these, not just, actual permanence, but the idea of permanence, which doesn't actually exist. And so that keeps us, as I mentioned, into this cycle of rebirth, samsara, where we're just constantly, we're shackled to it. So that's why things such as like the 5 remembrances or 5 reflections are so important, because they're basically allowing us to confront our fears, basically of impermanence, and saying, what, things are impermanent. And as soon as we understand this level, this true understanding, we can really release these shackles, this prison that we're in, these shackles that are chaining us, what we call fetters, mental fetters, this attachments, these chains to this cycle of rebirth. Because remember, we want things to be permanent, even though deep down we know they're not. And so when we're released from that, we're able to actually realize our true self and our true nature, which is nirvana. We've extinguished these 3 fires of greed, anger, and delusion, and we're able to live as we truly should live. But we've got to actually understand impermanence, and at a very, deep, true level, we got to get there. So daily practices such as the 5 remembrances, which help us with the Noble Eightfold Path, all these different things, and different Buddhist traditions have different ways about going about breaking down this idea of believing there is permanence in our lives, so we can understand impermanence. There's different ways of doing it, but this is central to Buddhism. For us, especially as Westerners, it can be very challenging, very hard to accept, like I mentioned, because we've been just brought up with this idea or this fantasy of permanence, which doesn't actually exist, and it causes a lot of dukkha in our lives. So I like to hear what you think about this. Like what is your ideas, especially maybe as a Westerner, on the idea of impermanence? Do you have any questions, ideas, concerns, or how do you actually do this in your practice? Do you do the 5 remembrances? I love to hear it in comments. Thank you.